Hi, this is Holly again. We had worked previously on drawing some flame letters together. I'm going to go ahead and do a whole alphabet in bubble letters. These are great for making cards, for making posters, any type of signs that you may have to make for projects. These are a great thing to know how to draw, and something fun just to kind of do in free time also. So we're going to do the whole alphabet together. I'm also going to be showing you how to blend colors again, putting different colors together to get a nice effect on your lettering. Just really make them pop out. I have a nice big sketchbook in front of me. We're going to be using a drawing pencil, an eraser, a Sharpie, and again, I'm just using Crayola markers. I find that they work just great and fine for this type of coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and open up to an empty page. Do it on a nice big sketchbook paper this time, since we're going to be drawing the whole alphabet. What I want you to go ahead and do, and I'm not really going to talk you through this part, we're just both going to take a moment to go ahead and write out the entire alphabet from A to Z. And let's go ahead and write out the capital letters and the lowercase letters, just so that we have a really good practice on how to do all of the letters. Might take us a little while, but it'll be worthwhile to make sure that we understand how to do each letter. So go ahead and start writing those out so that you're prepared to follow with me. Okay, so hopefully you've had time to go through and write out the alphabet. If you haven't, you can kind of do that as we go along. We're going to start with the letter A first, and let me see if I can zoom this in just a tiny bit for you so it's easier for you to see and follow along with me. So we'll be starting with the letter A. What you're going to wind up doing is you're going to just kind of follow along the outside edges of the A. So it's like we're making it thicker, and we're just going to follow the inside shape of the letter, and then we'll fill in the hole. And I'm going to go ahead and just outline this one so you can see how this works once it's outlined. When we're outlining, we'll just fill in any of the open spaces and trace the thickness. And when we erase away the pencil marks, we'll have a perfectly formed letter A. As you practice bubble letters and use them more and more in your drawings, you'll find that you won't have to start with the inside skeleton of the printed letter. You'll be able just to freehand draw it. So the next thing we'll do is I'm just going to come inside of the A here and fill in the opening. I'm going to thicken up the edges. We're going to come into the B, coming around it, making it thicker on the outside, putting our little openings in the inside, doing the same for the lowercase. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and outline those few so you can see what that would look like once the pencil lines are erased. Wind up with a nice clean bubble letter. Called a bubble letter because the edges are rounded. There's really no sharp points. A block letter would be a letter that has pointed edges. Okay, and then when we erase the pencil marks again, we're going to wind up with a nice clean font. Using these for posters is great because they're easier to see, look more professional, more artistic than just doing a regular printed letter. Okay, and then as we come around the C, we're just going to thicken up around the letter. Around the D, and then hopefully as we're kind of going through this, the more you practice, the more it's going to make sense for you. Okay, I'm just going to outline this first row, and the next ones, I'll just go ahead and do this part in Sharpie so that you can see it nice and dark as we're drawing. We can come back and erase the pencil lines later. And you don't have to Sharpie this part. It might be good if you want to Sharpie it and erase out your pencil marks just to keep it as a guide. You could also keep it to test some of your color effects and just keep it as a reference. I'll come around the E, thickening up around all parts, adding the opening. And we're just going to take some time now together to go through and get the rest of our letters thickened up. If you get lost at any point, you can just kind of follow with me or pause it on a certain letter to look at how I've come through and thickened those letters up. Okay, and the Q is kind of just a little bit harder. If you're not to that point, just kind of keep working. I'm going to talk you through this part. You can always rewind and come back or pause it on this. When you do the Q, you're just going to circle around it like a capital O. You are going to come down and around the extended line of the Q. When you come inside, you're going to do it just like you do the letter O, putting the smaller circle in the opening. Then you're going to come up and around the Q. Just tends to be one that's a little bit more difficult. And it's probably not a letter that you're going to draw very often. going to zoom this out just for a second here so you can start to see the whole alphabet. And U through Z are just basically the same letter, bigger and smaller. There's really no changes or variations from the capital to the lowercase. And all the way down here to Y and Z. Alright, we'll just spend a couple minutes erasing out some of the marks in our lettering. I'm going to erase C through O, just to give myself some space here to show you some different techniques of filling in these bubble letters, give you some creative ideas on what you can do after you've learned how to draw bubble letters. What else can you do with this to make it look impressive? One thing that you can do is to try some zentangling inside of the letters. And a zentangle is just when you are creatively doodling and filling with pattern. You can find a lot of zentangle patterns online. So what you'll do is you could come in and try some zentangle inside of your bubble letters. There's no right or wrong way to do a zentangle. All different kinds of styles that you can try. These are really fun to leave as black and white or to add color to. So you could try some zentangling. You could also just make up some patterns. Maybe you want to have polka dotted letters or striped letters. Just kind of having fun with it. Another thing that you can do is to use color. I'm going to just come off here to some empty space and talk to you again about the importance of the color wheel. Again, the color wheel has the three primary colors. The three primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Those colors are so important because they make every other color in